Okay, welcome everyone to this webinar about studying artificial intelligence. You signed up for this webinar since you probably are interested in this topic and possibly are looking to study it, as we are offering in this session the opportunity to hear about the Bachelor of Science in AI. Before we go over to the three presenters that we have lined up for you, I'd like to briefly explain to you how this works. So my name is Luc Mulling, I'm the moderator of today. And for you to mention, we have an interactive session. So that means we can take any questions from you at any time. You can write them through the channel called Q&A. There you can write them, and we will be answering the questions at the end. This is also for the people that are watching the recording. So if you're not joining live, you can still write your questions. You can do that. And then we will, of course, not be able to answer them live here, but they will be sent by email to the staff, and they can come back to you later. And what else do you have? Well, also you see a couple of links on the screen where you can find more information about the study program. We put a couple of videos and some further information there as well. But of course now you don't want to click on those links or just hear from me, but we do have the presenters lined up for you. As mentioned, three presenters, and we will start with the professor of this program, the Associate Professor in Industrial and Information Engineering of the University of Pavia, and that is Claudio Cusano, and he will introduce himself and the topic, and then we'll kick off. Good luck. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, and good afternoon to everybody. So I'm Claudio Cusano from the University of Pavia, and I'm going to give you a brief introduction to this new bachelor program, the Bachelor of Science in Artificial Intelligence. So, what it is about? It is a new bachelor program that is entirely devoted to artificial intelligence, and it is proposed by, not by one, but by three different universities. So my university, that is the University of Pavia, but also the University of Milano and the University of Milano-Bicocca. So we have three universities for a single bachelor program entirely devoted to artificial intelligence. Okay, let's start from the beginning. So why it is important to study artificial intelligence? So that we need a new bachelor program entirely devoted to it. Well, when we think about artificial intelligence, probably the images that come to our mind are images that comes from maybe science fiction novels or stories, or maybe we think to researchers that work in laboratories and try to shape the technology for our future. Well, actually, this image is not really up to date. And it is not because in the last decade there have been very important development in this field. And thanks to these developments, now artificial intelligence is not anymore a matter of the future, but is something that is very well present, and it is part of our everyday life. To see that, you have just to take your smartphone and look at the most complex applications you have in the smartphone. And probably you will notice that many of the most complicated ones, already use some degree of artificial intelligence. For instance, you may have a vocal interface, so a program that is able to receive commands given by voice. This is an example of artificial intelligence. You may have other applications that maybe work by image recognition, and this is another example. Or maybe you have an automatic translation system that is able to translate your sentences, whatever you write, from one language to another. So even beside smartphones, if you look around your house maybe, or your life in general, you may see many intelligent devices, like, for instance, autonomous driving cars, or in general, smart devices. And there are many other applications in robotics, in healthcare, and in many other domains. So basically, we have already artificial intelligence in our lives in many, many different applications. And these applications require for their development experts in artificial intelligence. Now, if you look at most programs, perhaps in computer science or in computer engineering, you will see that sometimes you can find some artificial intelligence, but typically it is considered like a sort of specialization. So you will find maybe at the end of the careers, at the end of the study plan, maybe at the master level, you will find some courses on artificial intelligence. But in general, it is considered as a topic that has to be addressed after a long period of study. And typically, you don't find it at all in bachelor programs. So it is a very special trait of our bachelor program, the fact that since the beginning, since the first day, you will be able to study artificial intelligence. It is differentiated from many other programs all around the world or in other universities from Italy. Besides that, our Bachelor of Science in Artificial Intelligence has some other unique traits. You can find it here as a short list. It is interdisciplinary, it is interuniversity, and it is international. Let's see what it means. First of all, it is an interdisciplinary bachelor. So in building the study plan and in selecting the content of this bachelor program, we included contributions from many different disciplines. Of course, there are the foundations of artificial intelligence, which typically are computer science, logics, and statistics. But and of course, there are the more fundamental basics of mathematics and physics. But you can also find contributions from philosophy and from psychology and neuroscience. So everything that is required to understand, to better understand natural intelligence and the possible links between natural and artificial intelligence. And you can also find contributions from philosophy again and law studies, because they help students in understand what are the very important ethical and legal issues that are related to the application of artificial intelligence in real applications. Second point, it is an inter-university bachelor. We already saw that there is not just a single university involved. There are 3 universities, one in Pavia, 2 in Milan, the University of Milan and the University of Milan-Bicocca. And this, of course, places some additional effort on students that have to move between the different cities, because activities will be organized in the 2 different cities depending on the semester. For instance, next year, the first semester will be entirely in Milano, while the second semester will be entirely in Pavia. So there is some inconvenience due to the organization, but in our opinion, the benefits are even larger than that. First of all, the 2 cities are very close one to the other. You can move from one city to the other in 30 minutes by train. So it's very, very simple, and many people do that every day. And we really think that this way, by having 3 universities focused on the same program, we can offer the best of the 3 universities to our students, and we can offer them the opportunity to live 2 different campuses, to meet more people, to live different realities. So in the end, we think that the fact that we have 3 universities involved in the same program is a strong point for our future students. From the more practical point of view, or if you want from the formal point of view, students will be enrolled at the University of Pavia. So everything related to the administration is located at the University of Pavia. But besides that, lectures, exams, and all teaching activities are divided between the 2 cities. And third point, it is an international bachelor. You see that all lectures, exams, or in general, all the activities are given in English. This way, we hope to have a large group of international students coming from many, many different countries. And this will help us in providing an international environment that is going to help not only international students, but also Italian students, that this way will be more ready to take all the opportunities that artificial intelligence are going to provide in the future all around the world. For this reason, since everything is given in English, of course, we require the students to have a reasonable knowledge of the language. If you're not 100% okay with English, but you understand English, you can follow, for instance, this webinar, you're probably fine. You will see what you have to produce in order to be able to enroll, so to demonstrate your knowledge of the language. But in general, we think that we are going to pick it up the language to the required level in just a few weeks of courses. So what happens after graduation? Well, if you take any report about job opportunities all around the world, you're probably going to see that at the top ranks, many professions are related in some way or another to artificial intelligence. So we're really quite sure that our graduates are going to have a good number of opportunities to apply what they're going to learn in their profession. So example of works of professions that are related to artificial intelligence and that we are going to introduce to our students are the developer of intelligent systems, the designer of smart devices. They can work as data analysts, or they can be operators for support decision-making with a computer. And all these in different domains, the corporate, in enterprise, in the manufacturing, in healthcare, and many, many, many others. Another important opportunity for our future graduates would be that of continuing studying artificial intelligence by taking a master's degree. And our 3 universities, right now, they are designing 2 different master degrees that are going to tackle artificial intelligence from 2 different directions. The master degrees are not going to start immediately. They're going to start probably within 1 year. So they will be very well ready by the time in which we will have our first graduates. Okay, I have just a few minutes to show the contents and the courses that are part of our bachelor program. So just a brief overview of this. Of course, if you have any questions about this, I will be happy to answer later on. So this is the study plan, in particular the first year. And here you can see the first major difference between our bachelor program and many other you can find from other universities. And it is the fact that starting from the first semester of the first year, so actually from the first day of lecture, students are going to study artificial intelligence. There is this very important course on knowledge representation and reasoning, where students are going to learn how to build programs, computer programs, that are able to solve problems by artificial reasoning, by automatic reasoning. So this is one of the historical enterprise of artificial intelligence, and is going to be covered already from the first year, of course. Beside that, there is a supporting course of computational logic, which is again related to reasoning in general and automatic reasoning in particular. There are foundations in computer science in the form of computer programming, algorithms, and data structures. There are foundations on mathematics, so calculus and linear algebra. There is physics, and there is one course on cognitive psychology to start to see also how humans reason, how humans think, and so to start to make connections between natural and artificial intelligence. This is the plan for the second year. Here we have even more artificial intelligence. Another important area of artificial intelligence is machine learning, together with artificial neural networks and deep learning. This area is at the core of many of the most important newer technologies, like those related to speech recognition, image recognition, natural language processing, and so on and so forth. So many of the more recent applications of artificial intelligence are covered by this area in particular. There are other 2 courses related to specialties in artificial intelligence. One is related to text mining and natural language processing, and the other one is about fuzzy systems and evolutionary computing. Then to complete the year, we have a course on statistics and probability, another course on physics, and a course on ethics, law, and AI, in which experts in philosophy and law studies are going to show which are the limitations in the application of artificial intelligence in our society. And to close the bachelor program, we have a third year. In the third year, basically, students can tailor the last part of their studies in order to better suit their own inclinations and preference. So actually we have just two compelling courses, one on statistical modeling, another one on brain modeling, so neurosciences. And beside that, we have several elective courses, so that students can choose from a list. We have lab activities, and a very important part is represented by these 4 track courses, which basically students choose among a selection of 4 possible tracks. So we have 4 tracks, students choose the one that they prefer. Each track focuses on one particular application area of artificial intelligence, and these 4 courses related to that track will help students in a better understanding that particular application domain. I have just time to list the 4 available tracks. The first one is about data analysis, communication, and marketing. The second is about industrial systems and healthcare. Then we have a third track on brain cognition and society, and a 4th track on physics for AI, health, and quantum information. You see, each one of these tracks includes 4 different courses that will show the students what happens in this particular area of application of artificial intelligence. So the first one is more related to, let's say, data analysis or data science and the world of communication and marketing. The second one is more related to engineering applications in the industry and in healthcare. Then we have a third one more related to the implications of AI and its application in our society. And the 4th one is more related to mathematics and physics. Okay, that's all from my side. You can find more information on our website, or you can use question and answers at the end of our presentations, or there are many other channels you can use to reach us. So at this point, let me introduce Michele Perrino. Michele Perrino is Regional Vice President of Medtronic Italia, and is going to provide us, I think, the point of view of the industry on artificial intelligence.
Ciao Claudio, thank you so much. I mean, welcome everyone. I see in the chat there are people from all over the world. I mean, from Asia to Europe and even US, I guess. That's why welcome to everyone, and I hope you are all healthy and safe after this tremendous pandemic we are still facing, by the way. Let me tell you, Claudio, I was just listening what you just showed, and let me tell you, it's really amazing. It's really amazing. We are supporting similar initiatives around the world with university. We have many collaboration in different areas, and I can tell you, this is the first initiative on AI that we are really part of, and the way how you have structured that so far. By the way, I was not aware of all the different details. Is really amazing, really something unique. You really mentioned, I mean, the key feature of this course, why people should apply for that. And that's the reason also why Medtronic is really proud to be collaborating with the 3 universities. You mentioned, you know, the collaboration among the 3 universities. These are, for people that probably don't know, I mean, Pavia and Bicocca and Milan are probably the most reputable university we have in this country, and also in outside the country. You mentioned that international spirit and contamination, which is, in my opinion, the key element of whatever training initiative that a person at this age should consider. Is probably one of the best case of collaboration in the country between university and industry. And my presence here at Medtronic is to testify that Medtronic is fully committed to this initiative. And we are going to create, additional, let's say, initiative in terms of workshop, in terms of field activities. That's why if the 3 university partners will allow us, again, we really want the people to not just learn theoretical things and having labs experience, but also touching AI in a different area that we are now already testing this. We are marketing, and lastly, I mean, this is, as I said, probably the first AI initiative I've seen in Europe. and AI is the topic to be selected at the moment. Everyone is talking about artificial intelligence, right? I mean, in whatever sector you go, you are just people are all sharing the same belief. This is the most powerful opportunity we have in the business. And now, when it comes to healthcare, I'm going to show you also what are the implications beyond the business that this enabling platform can really bring to the market. But before we get there, I mean, just let me spend a few words, because I mentioned Medtronic. You mentioned my role. I mean, I'm the head of Medtronic operation in country. Medtronic in this country is the largest healthcare industry with a large footprint, with more than 2,500 people, 7 different entities, etc. But I just spend a couple of words on Medtronic, because I want to make sure that people understand, I mean, who we are, because I mean, not every time, I mean, people should be aware of who Medtronic is. That's why, if you allow me, I mean, and go next to the next slide, please. Okay, this is in a nutshell what Medtronic is. It's the largest medical device company with more than 30 billion in revenue, but it's now considered one of the most advanced healthcare provider, because we are expanding our offering from medical technology to service and solution, because our final goal is to serve patients in the best possible way. Here you can see some numbers. We are, of course, present in every country from west to east. We have different, manufacturing plants everywhere, more than 90,000 people. And more importantly, we invest every year more than 8% of our total revenue in research and development. And that's the reason why, if you go next, in the next slide, that's the reason why the story of Medtronic is a story of technology. Medtronic is the company that started with the pacemaker that I think probably people should be familiar with. And during the last 60 years, we have been able really to expand our presence in all the chronic diseases, from cardiovascular to neuroscience, to surgical, minimally invasive surgery, to diabetes. And now, finally, we are launching these new frontiers of digital optionality with robotics, surgical robotics, spinal robotics. And of course, we will see also AI, machine learning. These are new frontiers that Medtronic is really exploring very, very actively. And we are, at the moment, considered the most, as I said, the most advanced, not in the way how we are developing and exploring, but also the way how we are positioning and marketing the application of AI for patient safety and healthy. That's why, if you go to the next slide, please. Our footprint in terms of clinical presence, as I mentioned, we are present in all the chronic diseases. We cover from the head to the foot. I mean, we have more than 80 different therapies that we are serving. And next slide, please. The most importantly, every second, 2 patients are directly or indirectly in touch with our medical device. That's why you can really understand the kind of responsibility that we have as a company, because that is our goal. It's not the business. We serve patients. We serve health, and we serve, wellness to what, especially in the chronic disease, but not just chronic disease. That's why we work for people. We will work for just businesses. Please, if we go to the next, I think we should have a video. Now we get before the video. If you still have concern or doubt, or why should I take a similar kind of a bachelor program? Why AI? I think, and I'm sure you are all familiar with the different application that today AI is having cross industries. Of course, I'm representing the healthcare. It is one of the most impacted. Also in terms of patient impact, but you can see here that we go everywhere. AI is really spreading the presence, the power, the impact, the influence of its benefit in every sector, from insurance to banks to transport to aerospace, but again, agriculture, etc., etc. If you go to the next slide, you can see also the kind of, the way how also AI is interconnected with other digital optionality that we are all investigating and exploring at the moment, from machine learning to robotics, etc. That's why it's not just important for itself, but is a perfect enabling platform for whatever digital optionality and platform we are going to launch. That's why having AI that works properly with the right competency and really build as a central capability in the company will be the critical factor for success for whatever company in whatever sector we might consider. I think we should have a video now. Please.
Let's explain how AI and doctors can work together. AI isn't scary, sentient, or a stand-in for medical practitioners. Doctors work hard and have a human touch that's invaluable in healthcare. AI applies the knowledge of hundreds of medical practitioners to each exam, and it never gets tired. This can lead to collaborative work, improved care, and better patient outcomes. Explained simply, when we partner with AI in healthcare, we can go further together.
That's exactly the purpose. When it comes, to healthcare, the role of AI becomes even more impactful. Why? Because we are serving patients. These are the two main values that AI is and will be bringing into market. One, as the video showed, we are going to improve outcome. We are already improving outcome because we are anticipating, we are doing better diagnosis, we are predicting disease, we are not treating disease as most of the time we have been doing so far. That's why AI will be an incredible enabler for better outcomes. But also, relate to that, we have cost, because the better we serve patients, and the more we are going to create efficiency. We are going to reduce waste, and that will, of course, will be the perfect balance between what we call, value chain in the healthcare. That's why combining better outcomes because of prediction, because of better planning, because of algorithm that enable data connection, data exchange, but also save money. And the money is not let's say a point that we should underestimate it, because today every country in the world is facing a challenge in terms of sustainability. There is an incredible increase of healthcare demand, but the money is not available. The money of course, is limited. That's why all the government are looking for solution. AI could be that solution because it allows, as I said, to reduce the waste that most of the time we have at the level of hospital, at the level of region, at whatever level we might consider. If we go next, please, you can already see, here the different area of application that AI is already used in healthcare today. From clinical, helping the physician to take their decision, to as I said before, make the right predictive insight, doing assessment of risk, reduce, optimize drug delivery, and doing research and discovery, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If we go next, you can already see, as I said, it is not something that is going to come in 6 months. AI is already part of our challenge. If I look at Medtronic, it's one of the most important strategic pathway that we have already decided to go years ago. And you can see here some example of areas of diseases where AI is already applicable, from skin cancer to coma to CT scan to robotics, assistant to depression, et cetera, et cetera. That's why there is no area where AI is not already, I would say, considered and used in the daily practice. If we go next, please. Now, I'll just to close. Bringing the example of Medtronic, I want you to. I'm bringing three simple examples of how Medtronic, for example, is already marketing AI. This is the first example. Is that we are in the area of diabetes. These are two nice projects that we have. The first one we are doing in partnership with IBM is already in the market. This is as you can see here, is an application that is able to really recognize through algorithm the food that we are, picture that we have been recording for years. That's why this application is able to not just record what you are eating and the element that of that, the ingredients that of what you are eating, but more importantly, because of diabetes and especially for insulin-dependent patient, is able to connect that data with the kind of insulin that is required for that kind of patient. As you may know, the insulin level or the glycemia level for that patient is a question of life or death. That's why if you have an application that is connected with a pump that is also releasing insulin, you have the perfect, the perfect loop that you can really close again to enable a better, service to that kind of patient. And you have the second example that we are still in the case. This is a project we're going to release very soon. We are still in the area of diabetes. Is an insulin pen. This is a kind of device that we use to inject insulin. It's going to use artificial intelligence. Why? Because during that injection, the system is going to be able to predict certain kind of data that we are going to take from the patient, and that data will be transferred to other, as I said, to other application platform that we have for other devices for the same patient. That's why we are, again, is an additional piece of the puzzle that is going to allow that patient to really understand what they are, how they are eating, how they are behaving, and make sure that the level of their glycemia is where it should be. If we go to the next example, we are in the area of surgery here, and more specifically in the area of training education. This is a platform that we're going to release also very soon. It's part of an acquisition that we have made. It's called Touch Surgery. We are, as I said, in the area of training, but not specifically in the training, because one of the most, let's say, important challenges we have around the world in the minimally invasive surgery is the variability of the physician practice. If you go in one hospital, they do the surgery in a certain way. If you go in another hospital, probably you get a different approach. That's why, as a leading company in the surgical area, we are trying to really democratize surgery. We are doing that through robotics, but also artificial intelligence is going to help. In this specific case, for example, is just one piece of the puzzle that we are building. We have other examples of AI applied in the same surgical area. In this specific case, this is through the record of the intervention that we have been doing for years. We are able now to have data through algorithm that allows the physician, the next intervention, to understand how to better treat that patient, how to better improve that practice in the operating room that probably was not there in the case before. That's why through that kind of algorithm, we create a kind of standardization of clinical practice. The last example I can bring, and then I'm done, is in the area of colorectal oncology. Please go next slide. Here is GI Genius. Is one of the recent acquisitions we have made in Israel. GI Genius is a true artificial intelligence algorithm that is connected with our device called PILCAM. And what basically does is, again, recording images through a scan of a colon in the abdomen of the patient. And through that picture, through that data that we have been collecting, the system is really able to predict and to diagnose cancer, which is not the case today because we don't have that data. That's why while we are doing an intervention, we are recording data. That data is going to be used through algorithm, recorded, put in a big, let's say, repository with other picture and other patient. And because of that massive and tangible amount of data, we're going to be able to predict cancer and improve, hopefully, the number of cancer that today we have in this area, colorectal. That's why these are three clear examples to show that AI is not something is going to come. It's something that is already existing, and it is at the center of the strategy of Medtronic. And this is not just for Medtronic as a leading company, but it's, as I said, every company is going to be there. That's why I think there is no reason for a student like you or even for a professional like me not to explore and to be the best, let's say, and to have a deep knowledge in this area, because one of the big challenges we have today as an industry, we don't have the people. We don't when we try to hire people, we don't find these people. We don't find people that are able to work with this new digital option. That's why we mandatory need, and we need to be also quick in the way how we do, to train and create initiative like Pavia is doing, to bring students and professionals on the market that we are going to desperately need for for our business growth. With this, I'm done. I hope it was clear. Thank you so much.
Great. Then we go to the next speaker. We have Daria Milone with us, and she will talk about the admission part. Go ahead, Daria.
Thank you, Luke. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here today. So I will. Okay. Can you see the slides? Okay. You should be able to see the slides. Sorry for this because I cannot see them. Okay. Sorry, Luke, I don't see the slides on my part of the screen.
Okay, Daria, I will check 1 second.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, if the audience can still hear me, I will briefly talk about the entry requirements and the application procedures about our bachelor degree in artificial intelligence. My name is Daria Milone, and I am part of the admission office of the University of Pavia. So we will, as already said, briefly go through the procedures, which are slightly different for European Union students and non-European Union students. And this has to do mainly with the entry requirements of the test, which is required. So, shall we? Okay. Okay. Do we see the slides now? Sorry for that. Okay, Luke, so okay. Can we, okay. So this is a general information, thank you. So this is a general information regarding our degree. So it's a limited access degree, meaning that the enrollment is possible until all the available places are taken by the candidates. As you can understand, there are 180 seats, which are divided in 150 dedicated to European Union students and 30 seats dedicated to non-European Union students. And these has to do with the different procedures and calendars that we will see in the next slide. If you can go further with the slides.
Yes.
Okay. So these are the requirements for European Union students, which are almost the same as the ones that we will see in a second for non-EU students. So of course you should have a final diploma, an upper secondary school diploma. In case you have obtained the diploma in a country outside of Italy, we wish to ask you to send it to the admission office beforehand so we can have a look at the document. And the second requirement is the entry exam, this famous entry exam, which is the TOLC I in English, with a score greater than or equal than 18 out of 50, or the TOLC I in Italian language. In this case, other than the 4 sections, which usually are part of the TOLC test, there's also the English section, which must be passed with a score of 21 out of 30. And also, in this case, we require students to provide us with a certification of the English language at the B2 level, which must be provided to our offices by the end of the year. There are some dates on the TOLC I page, which are online. We will provide you with all the links. The ones I have written in the ones that you can see in the slide are just part of the dates, but there are many more, actually many more dates. So I really suggest you to look at the website. And also, for example, the deadline, the date for the English Talk I of the 13th of July closes tomorrow. Actually, there's a deadline because then the system needs to, invite all the participants. So we urge you to register to the date because tomorrow there's the deadline. But anyways, just so you know, you can register for the Talk I test, either English or Italian. Of course, the English one is the preferred, so we would suggest you to register for that one in any Italian university. So not only in the University of Pavia or Bicocca, Milano Bicocca, or Milan-Estate, but in any university in Italy that offers the test. The test. So if we go further, please, with the slides. Okay, so the application calendar. So this might seem confusing. It is not. So we have two main windows. The first one, with 120 places, is dedicated to all the students who have the English Talk I. So if you have the Italian Talk I, this is not your window, okay? So starting from the 15th of July until the 26th of July, if you have the Talk I in English, you should register to you should register to our student area. What happens after the deadline? After the deadline of the first window? The second window opens, which opens from the 27th of July until the 4th of August. In this case, there are 30 more seats that were not allocated in the first window, plus all the any available places left. After the 4th of August, our offices will understand if there are any available seats. And there are other two windows later on, at the end of August, which lasts actually a month, and another one which lasts a little bit less, and are windows dedicated to waiting list places. So in case there are available seats, these will be allocated in the next windows. There's one very important thing I wish to tell you, but I've already said that, but I want to underline it. I want to underline the fact that the first window is for the English Talk. The second window is only for the Italian Talk, okay? Again, the first window for the waiting list of available places, which starts the 26th of August, is only for English Talk I. While the second window of the waiting list of available places is only for Italian Talk I. Okay, we can go further with the slides. Thank you. Okay, so how to apply? We will send you this information, and these informations are anyways in all the websites which we will provide you with. So anyways, you will have the information. But just to go through it, so you should register to our student area, here the link, and you will obtain the credentials, which are your Italian fiscal code and a password. Once you are inside the student area, you should apply for the test, for the competitive test, this is how it is called in English, but this is not the talk test, okay? This is how you enter in our procedure. We have also written the Italian translation, so in case the browser doesn't translate, but it should translate anyways. Then point 3 is the automatic acquisition of the talk test. So you do the talk test, and our system will, either the provider of the talk, which is called CISIA, and our student area, the two systems will talk between each other, and the information will be sent to your student area. Just bear in mind that the talk in person, whenever you do it, because there are two chances. You can either do the talk in person, and also the talk online, which is of course, most popular type of test. The talk at casa, which means talk at home. Bear in mind that the final results will be sent to your student area after 2 days. Okay, so there are some, the system needs to, generate the information. So the fourth point at the end is check your status, because if you are eligible, you will see it on your personal area. We will go through the information in the next slide. And number 5 is if you are admitted, you should pre-enroll and pay the first installment. So if we go to the next slide, we will see the status, how it changes. Can we go? Okay, so here we are. So whenever you register to the course, you will see your name, of course, and test to be taken. This is the situation. Whenever you do the talk I, English or Italian, and if you have the requirements, so if you pass the test with the mentioned scores, you will be, sorry, I don't see the slides anymore. Anyways, you will see pass or eligible next to your name. If you don't pass the talk I, or if you pass it but you don't have the score that we require, you will see rejected next to your name. So hopefully you will pass the talk I. And then you will see other 2 status, which are, in case of available seats, admitted. In case there are no more seats, you will see not admitted, okay? So in case you're admitted, of course, what you should do, you must enroll. But you have a limited time, a limited amount of time to enroll. You have 3 days after you are admitted to enroll, and you have other 2 days from enrollment to pay the first installment of 156 euros. Make sure you meet the deadlines. Otherwise, what happens is that your status results as cancelled. In case of a status cancelled, you cannot enroll anymore, and a not admitted person will take up your spot. Okay, so the suggestion is check your status, I would say daily, because the situation can always change. And then if we go further with the slides. Congratulations, your enrollment will be confirmed and you will receive a welcome email. If you have obtained your diploma outside of Italy, make sure you have the diploma translated into Italian, unless it's already issued in English by your institution and legalized, and the declaration of value or the statement of comparability issued by the Enigmatic Center, Italian Enigmatic Center, Cimea. The next slide is on the requirements of non-European Union students. What you can easily see from the slides before is that the difference is that there's another entry exam, which we, one of the entry exams that you can provide us with, and it is the SAT. So if you are a non-EU student residing outside of Italy, an international student, you must have the final diploma, of course, and one out of these 3 entry exams with these scores. Again, the deadline, the dates of the talk I are the same, of course, that I've just underlined before. So we can go further, please, to the calendar, application calendar time window. Okay, so in this case, we have 30 places, and there is only one window that goes from the 15th of July until the 3rd of September. Okay, what you should do in this case, you should register, of course, to our website of a student area, obtain the credential, apply for, so register inside the artificial intelligence course, and attach all the required documentation. And of course, the certification of the test, either SAT or talk I in English or talk I in Italian. In this case, what happens? We the offices will check your documents and see if you are eligible to enroll. In that case, we will send you by email the information you will need to proceed your enrollment. And we go further. Also in this case, congratulations. Can we move further with the slides? Okay, thank you. Also in this case, if everything is in place, if you have received an email from us saying, okay, thank you for the documents and the entry test that you have provided us with, your enrollment will be confirmed and you will receive a welcome email. In case of a diploma obtained outside of Italy, please, of course, send us the diploma as already mentioned, so translated and legalized and the declaration of value. If the documents, because this can happen, are still in process of being released because for any reasons, we will provide you with a self-certification in which you state that you are asking for these documents to the relevant bodies, to the relevant authorities. And the last slide, if we can go to it, as the contacts. Thank you. So if you wish to request more information or assistance with the application and enrollment process, we have, let's say, two ways. The EU students may write to Matricole Scientifiche at unipv.it. Non-EU students can write to the admission at unipv.it, but also, I mean, you can write as we will answer, of course. The websites, the first one is the same that Professor Cusano has shown, so the website of the degree, while the second website is the website of the University of Pavia, where you have all the information and also the annual announcement with everything that I've just said very well explained. So I'm okay for my side. Thank you, Luke.
Okay, thank you very much. And yes, you managed to do that, to present in this a little bit challenging way. Thank you very much. And yeah, with that, we have concluded the presentation part so far. So now it's really up to you, all of you that have joined the session, and we get your questions answered. So we already received a bunch of questions, so we're going to dive right in, not to miss time, and to answer as many as we can. Although if we cannot answer all of them, don't worry, we can come back to you by email. And that actually answers the first question I received from Sebastian, and asking as well about if we can access the information when the webinar is over. So yes, we are recording this session. So all of you who maybe joined later or you missed something, you want to see it again, you can get the recording and see it in the next day. Now, question from let's see, Simone. Simone is a student of computer engineering in Pavia already, and he asks, do I have to take the test to switch to this course?
Yes, you should take the test unless you already have a Talk I, an Italian Talk I with the required score. But if you don't have the Talk I, then yes, you should comply with the announcement and take one of the two tests, either English or Italian.
Okay. Thank you. Janina is asking how artificial intelligence can help broaden the intercultural relationships. Mr. Cusano, maybe?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. And it's a very complicated one. Yeah. So I'll try to be short. One interesting thing about artificial intelligence is that by building an artificial intelligence system, we learn a lot about our natural intelligence. And typically machines tend to learn what we do. And we discovered that many machines tend to replicate our bad habits in terms of discrimination, in terms of any kind of uncorrectable behavior. So I think that by studying that, there is a very hot topic. You may learn that to avoid all of these. From a practical point of view, the fact that we are placing many students, hopefully from all around the world, should already be an inclusive policy to make people to stay better together. In general, the science field and artificial intelligence is a part of science, tend to be more inclusive than the outside society. So all these, I think, that are interesting topics that can be explored by studying artificial intelligence. But a real answer will take, I'm afraid, too much time.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Thank you very much. We will go over indeed to the next question. And Nabil is asking, I would like to ask that whether the university will accept the English language proficiency certificate given by the high school.
Thank
Daria?
you. Should I answer? Yes, I will answer it. Actually, no, we have a list of certifications that we require, that we accept, and the list is on the link of the University of Pavia, and also, I believe, on the link of the of the degree course. So the answer is no. Unfortunately, we don't accept that. Thank you.
By the way, the link to the website you find at the right bottom. So for all of you, there's a link directly already given, so you can find more information about requirements and application there as well. Question from Mary Grace is asking, and actually a couple of more people are asking about this. Are there scholarships for the bachelor? And is this also for international students? Daria?
Yes, so we have, as the University of Pavia, we have regional founded scholarships. Every student can have access to the scholarships. Of course, there are rankings and specific requirements to be inserted and added into the rankings. For further information regarding the scholarships, I wish everybody to write to our dedicated office, which is the Welcome Office. So there's an email address, which is welcome@unipv.it, and our colleagues will answer very well to your questions related to scholarships.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope that answers your question. Let's see, we have a question from Prachi, and is asking, can you tell me more about the laboratory facilities for hands-on practice of this AI course? Mr. Cusano?
Yes. We have two kinds of laboratories. We have, let's say, the teaching laboratories, where students will use to learn programming and physics and statistics and many, many other topics. I would say that the majority of courses that I listed in the study plan has some laboratory activities. And for these, we will use the facilities of the three universities. So you can imagine that having three different universities multiplies the resources that we can use for our courses. Then there are the research labs. And the research labs are those that will host students for the final part of the bachelor programs. If you remember, in the study plan for the third year, there were some lab activities, three lab activities, and these three lab activities will take place in research labs. And again, having three different universities multiplies the number of labs that will host students. In addition to this, instead of the lab activities with our research labs, students may replace these with an experience hosted by companies. So they can replace the three labs with a stage or an experience within one of the many companies that are offering for this kind of tutorship. So we have plenty of resources on this side.
Great, and I think related to that, Beckshot was asking, will we be in touch also with possible experts like Medtronic? So as Medtronic has been participating, will they be able to be in touch, or, I don't know, an internship, something like that as well?
In touch for sure, the answer is yes. We are working with the university on our initiative like internship, etc. But again, today is not confirmed yet.
Okay.
Yes, and we have many other companies that are showing interest. Maybe in other areas like in finance, like in manufacturing. So there is a high degree of interest from companies in having internship and other opportunities to meet our students.
Thank you. James is asking, how soon will an applicant know if they have been given admission? Daria.
So thank you for the question. In case you have done all the needed steps, you will know it after 1 or 2 days if you are an international student, so a non-EU student that must upload the documentation. So 1 or 2 days.
Great. Thank you. Vinod is asking, am I eligible to apply this year because I'm getting my diploma in August?
As long as you obtain the diploma in August and have all the needed documents by the start of the classes and also the next months, then yes, you are eligible to apply. Also because you will state in your self-certification that you are about to obtain your diploma and you are about to do everything you need to obtain the documents. So yes, the answer is yes.
Great, thank you. Federico is asking, how much is the annual tuition fee?
So shall I answer? Yes. So we have, yes, the annual tuition is calculated on the family income of the students. So students that are EU students, Italian and EU students, they must present their family income and they will have the tuition fees balanced on that income. The University of Pavia, I mean, it will, we have several levels of contributions and then which are available on our website under tuition fees. So you can check them better. But we have, the contribution will go from 156, which is the first installment, to the maximum should be, I think, 3,000. But I don't want to be. I mean, I don't know exactly the maximum. I would suggest you to check the website, or we will send you a specific information on that after we obtain all the questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Eduard is asking, what's the difference between electronic and IT engineering and this AI degree?
There is a quite significant difference. In general, engineering studies are built on the idea that you start with a lot of basics, and then after that, you start applying those. So typically, you have a 3-level program where first level, you start with mathematics and physics, computer science, programming, and so on and so forth. Then you go on with the basics of engineering, so control theory, electronics, computer architectures, and so on and so forth. And then you go to the application. So if you are interested in AI, you can find it, but typically you will find AI at the end of your path. With this degree, you start immediately studying AI. And you still have, by and large, the same ingredients, so math, physics, computer science, statistics, all of these, but all of these are targeted around artificial intelligence. And besides that, we also have some courses that are completely outside the scope of engineering, like cognitive psychology, brain modeling, ethics, so all things that are specialties of other disciplines towards AI. So if you take the typical engineering study plan and our study plan, you will see a large number of differences. It's a radically different approach.
Okay, thank you very much. Megan is asking, as a native English speaker, would I still have to take the English exam?
Well, yes, in the sense that the entry requirement is always needed. So in case you either should take the talk I in English or in Italian. We would suggest you to, in case you, unless you don't already have the talk I in Italian, we would strongly suggest you to take the talk I in English. In that case, for all the students that obtain the English talk I, no English certification is needed. So the English certification is needed only for the students who take the Italian talk I. I hope this answered your question.
Okay, I hope so as well. Great, thank you. Laisha, and I think some other people also were asking if the University of Pavia, or maybe even also the others, if they offer accommodation or help with that.
So we, again, we have a wonderful service, which is the Welcome Office. And our Welcome Office will provide with students with all the needed information regarding how to obtain an accommodation in Pavia. Although we don't give specific, we don't have specific places allocated for our students, because there's the regional, as said before, regional scholarship with accommodation and colleges. The Pavia is very well known for colleges and residencies for students, and you can apply for a room in one of the colleges, and we will do our best to provide you with the needed information to proceed so.
Okay, thank you. Matthias asking, can I attend also lessons from home?
Okay, actually not really. Of course, considering that pandemic is not over yet, we don't know for sure how the lectures for the next semester and for next year in general are going to be organized, or at least we have an idea, but maybe things are going to change because we cannot govern pandemic as we wish. The current idea is that lectures will be in the university, in the classroom. All lectures will be recorded, and students will be able to attend, to watch the videos offline. So it is not live streaming of the lectures, but it is an offline recording of the lectures in the classroom. So I would suggest students that want to do a bit of one thing and a bit of the other, so a bit following the lectures, attending the lectures from the classroom and maybe some at home. I think that this would be viable, that would be an okay solution. A fully online attending the lectures probably is not feasible.
Okay.
So it is not an online bachelor program. It is an on-site regular program.
Great, thank you. A question from Loris, and I think there was somebody else as well. If it's possible to join this program as an Erasmus program, I guess an exchange is probably indicated.
So if you are an Erasmus student, you can take the courses whenever you do your learning agreement. So I don't know if this is the case Loris is referring to, but yes, you can choose whenever you do your learning agreement with your university, you can add some courses.
Okay. Thank you. Elisa is asking, can I choose the university in which I want to study for the first semester? I guess referring to the 3 universities offering this.
No. Lectures are divided across the universities. So the first semester will be in Milan, half in Milan-Bicocca and half in the Statale, so the University of Milan. And the second semester will be in Pavia. And more or less this schema is going to be repeated for the other years as well. So you cannot choose where you are going to take lectures, because lectures will take place in a specific university. But we will do our best to try to simplify the logistics and the movements between the cities and between the facilities of the university.
Okay, thank you. Question from Akmadon. As a non-EU student, however, I reside in Italy. Can I enroll to this course like an EU student?
If you are a non-EU student, but you reside in Italy and you have a residence permit for any reasons, you can apply for the course as a EU student. It's not that you can, you must apply as EU student. So yes, you are a EU student if you reside in Italy.
Okay, thank you. Prachi is asking about the application deadline for the EDISU scholarship for the September 2021 intake. Can you say something about this?
Also in this case, the EDISU, which is the regional scholarship that we were saying something about it before, you can find all the needed information on our website on the page fees and scholarship, and then there you will find all the deadlines. There's only one deadline, and there are no several deadlines.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, we're getting to the end of this session. We might be able to still take one or two questions. However, before we do that, we'd like to know from everybody a little bit of feedback as well. And we'd like to know from you if you find this session useful, first of all. So you see on your screen the question, you can answer that yes, somewhat, or no. Let us know how we did. And if you find it useful, don't forget to hit submit. And then we are getting your answer. So thank you for your answer. Next question, we'd like to know if you're interested in applying. Is that a yes, not sure, yet, or no? Okay. And if you are interested to apply, we'd like to know for when you're considering. Is it September this year, next year? Or maybe later if you're not sure yet. Thanks to let us know. And yes, as mentioned, we're coming to the end of the session. Like 2 more questions I can take. Megan is asking, do you need to be knowledgeable in programming in order to be successful in the degree?
No, actually not. We just need some basic knowledge about math and some general knowledge given by high school, not specific about programming. Everything that it is required for artificial intelligence is going to be part of one of our courses.
Thank you. And question from Bexot is, how can we provide it with an apartment while studying in several cities?
Well, actually, we have 2 cities, but the 2 cities are very well connected and they are close one to the other. You can reach Pavia from Milano or vice versa in about 30 minutes by train. And many people do this routinely every year. So our advice is take the apartment in one city or the other and then commute in the semester that you need to commute, because you can do it very, very quickly, very, very easily. Many people do that regularly every day.
Great. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Cusano, and as well as Daria. We are coming to the end of this session. I am aware that a couple of questions were not answered. Some were a bit broad about general connection of artificial intelligence, so maybe a bit too broad for the session to take now due to the time, and some personal questions, but we can come back to them offline, so to say, as mentioned. So the questions are recorded. And also just to let you know, for people watching the recording, you can still write your question. So if you still have some things you'd like to know, take advantage, write them, and because they will be sent by email to the staff of the university. And yeah, with that, I'd like to thank everybody for having joined. Of course, the audience, we had people from all over the world indeed joining. I saw people indeed from Europe, from Asia, Latin America. So that's great to see. And of course, thanks for the three panelists that we had. First of all, Michele Perino from Medtronic, but as well as Daria and Claudio Cusano, the professor. Thank you both for having joined and spending your time. And maybe a last word over to you, Dr. Professor Claudio Cusano, just to finish off the session. Thank you.
Well, we hope we give a faithful representation of our new program, and I hope that this is going to convince many of you to attend to the course, or at least to spread the news among your peers, so that maybe someone else can be interested in enrolling to our degree. And if you have any question, please refer to the website and use one of our channels to pose your question. We are going to answer.
Great. Thank you, everyone. And well, hope the session was useful, and goodbye. See you hopefully in Milan or Pavia next year. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you.